Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is Kirsty and Emer. I'm down in Winchester and Emer's up in Edinburgh. I can see there's a few people already online and people are joining as I'm speaking. So a really warm welcome to you all. Whilst you're waiting, the things you need to have with you to make the most out of this webinar are your favorite pens, whether those are markers, or if you're a bit of a Sharpie girl, Sharpies are all good, or your favorite pens. You also need lots of paper so that you can practice and play. And the other bit is a bit of a mindset. Just have a go and be a little bit curious and trust yourself that you can actually do some drawing and make something out of the shapes that Emer's going to talk to us about. So it's just 10 o'clock, so I will be kind and gracious and give everyone just a couple more minutes because I know a lot of people have signed up to do this and do want to join us. For those who've not met me before, my name's Kirsty Lewis and I'm the founder of the School of Facilitation. I created SOF 3 years ago, but she's definitely been an entity for me for the last 10, 12 years since I've been a facilitator and a trainer. One of the things I get really passionate about is how we, as the facilitators and trainers, show up with our clients. And therefore, I think it's really important that we're forever growing and developing ourselves and taking time out to upskill ourselves. And so one of the ways I thought we could do this was through the webinars that I host once a month. And we're always going to do a skill-based webinar every other month. And so I'm really excited today to introduce you to Emer, who has joined us from Edinburgh. And Emer, she's going to introduce herself and then she's going to lead us in a meditative exercise, which we always start a School of Facilitation class gathering with. So I'll let Emer introduce herself and who she is.
Hi everybody, my name is Emer and I have confession to make. This is my very first live video webinar, so it's a really bizarre, strange experience for me, and I'm really glad that you're all here. So we're all working together and we're going to get through this. It's going to be good. So as Kirsty said, my name is Emer. If you have difficulty remembering how to pronounce my name, it's helpful to know that it rhymes with dreamer. And I am what's known as a graphic facilitator. And a graphic facilitator is someone who uses very large pieces of paper on the wall to help people and groups to map out their ideas. And I first learned about graphic facilitation when I moved to Edinburgh in 2002, quite a while ago now, and I worked for a number of disability organisations here. And within these organisations, I was trained in a facilitation tool called person-centred planning. And person-centred planning was really about putting the person at the heart of creating plans about their life. And we used quite a lot of these large-scale paper and drawings and so forth, and that's where my passion really started. As Kirsty said, we're going to kick off today's session with a short meditative exercise. So I hope everyone's got their pieces of paper, you've got your markers and stuff, you've got your mobiles and all that switched off, all your browser windows closed down. Okay. We're actually going to use a fresh sheet of paper. Are you ready? I'm looking at Kirsty for nods. Okay, here it goes. All you need to do is to take your marker and just create big swirls on the page. Doesn't really matter how big or how small they are. You can get them really tiny, get them quite large. Just don't take your marker off the page. You're going to end up with something like that. And now you might like to choose an area and just start to color it in, whichever way you like to. Maybe you're going to use some stripes. Maybe you're going to do some zigzags. There's some bold lines. And really, this is simply an exercise to warm us up. Anytime you start doing drawing for the first time, it's a good idea to do a little bit of warm up to begin with. It kind of helps to relax you, to ground you. It also takes a lot of the pressure off. With an exercise like this, you can't possibly get it wrong. You're basically just kind of scribbling. So I like to do different types of meditative drawing exercises at the beginning of each class, just to help us to tap into the right-hand side of our brain, into our creativity, our intuition, get us into the flow. How did you get on with that, Kirsty? Beautiful. Can everyone see Kirsty's?
I feel like I'm back at art class, everybody, and I'd like to say it's interesting. So just a point of clarification, we are filming this, everybody, so you will get a copy of this. So if you miss anything, don't worry, you'll be able to watch it back. Now we've got a question for you. I'm going to put a poll out, and we are curious, how many of you already use hand-drawn flip charts? You've got two options, me, or no. And if you feel that poll doesn't represent you, you can just write me an answer in question. So can everyone answer in the poll, which I need to launch? Sorry, technology. So the poll's gone out to everybody. Okay, currently about 72% say I use flips already, and 27% say they don't. Okay. So Emer, we were talking about why use flip charts? Why use graphics when we are facilitating, running a meeting even, or a workshop?
Yeah, Kirsty, maybe you'd like to tell folk why you're interested in this topic. About it that made you think, oh yes, let's do a session on this?
Because I came from a corporate, which I know many of us listening to this have either experienced or still at corporates, and everyone just gets PowerPoint crazy. And I remember someone once saying to me, PowerPoints are really antagonistic, so brain antagonistic. So I've got the power of the clicker as the facilitator, and I will let you know what you can observe and see and in what period of time. Mm-hmm. Whereas when I started using flip charts, it meant I could keep key messages up on the wall that I could then refer back to during the course of a meeting or a workshop. So that was one thing. Another thing I've learned, a lot of learning can be done unconsciously, and therefore leaving, again, posters or key messages on the wall meant people could just look at them. I use them for different exercises. It also looks way more interesting in a meeting room, if you ask me, and in a session. So I don't know what other people think, but those are the reasons why I use flip charts.
Yeah, it would be good to hear what people think the benefits are of using flip charts over, for example, something like traditional PowerPoint and so forth. And today we're not just talking about flip charts per se, but kind of broadening that out to the use of hand-drawn graphics. Because you might be using flip charts, but you might just be using text on your flip charts. You mightn't be using any drawings on your flip charts. So what do you think are some of the benefits or the advantages of actually doing a few drawings when you're using your flip charts? So why basically, who did you come on the call today?
So we've got it keeps people present, it's more engaging. Oh, it's going so quick. I run face-to-face workshops, and therefore it keeps people there. I feel talked at less, makes it more interactive. It provides flexibility. If you run a full day workshop, this is Dina, I'll have 2 or 3 flip charts and a PowerPoint. It's less formal, and therefore it's more friendly, says Anya. It's a good style to use when coaching. Nice, yes. Keeps interest and momentum, brings it alive, says Joanne. Elia in Amsterdam, hey, lovely. It's dynamic in the room, it creates energy, it's more personable. It makes people laugh. Emmanuel, what are you doing? And it's different, says Anya. Neil, I can run the same workshops 10 times and have 10 different sessions as the learners feel that they can contribute. Absolutely. Monica says it helps explain the complex in a simple way. Geraldine, sorry, I'm too busy colouring in to answer. I like that.
That's good.
Debbie, I like to use the development of flip charts to tell the story of the day. So they're posted around the room. Nice. Hey, Gary, welcome. No worries. Come join the gang. Fiona, the flip chart's just viewable all day. Oh, Giles, good comment. It reduces any language issues.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge. Yeah. Wow. We've got quite a few benefits there. You're talking so fast, you don't have time to get them all down. But some of the key points you're talking about: captures key messages, interesting. Somebody spoke about energy, visibility, making it more accessible, more personable. I mean, that human touch is a massive, massive factor, I think, that we often overlook when we get caught up on perfection of images. It's actually the fact that the way I draw this person is a bit different to the way you might draw a person, and that's the engaging factor that people get drawn into. They say, wow, that is a little bit different. So loads of benefits there, and this one very much a huge thing that comes up a lot in the work I do with my clients is how do we explain really complex and difficult, maybe projects, ideas, presentation in a simple way so that people just get it. And hand-drawn graphics are a really powerful way to do that.
Can I just Ramon's answer? I draw because it gives me a good chance to practice the techniques, as I'm a bit of a disaster drawing.
Now, come on, we'll be talking about limiting beliefs in a moment, and actually that's a really nice tie into what we're talking about next. Is the fact that even though, I mean, in the last 60 seconds you've all given loads of reasons why this stuff is so powerful, how come we don't see it everywhere? How come this isn't in every single training room or facilitator's workshop that we go in?
So that goes to the next question. Well, that's the question, isn't it? And actually, Ramon, you've given us a good lead in, which is, out of curiosity, what stops us from using hand-drawn visuals? So I know some of you do not use them, and some of you do, but what stops you from using visuals? Or even if you use visuals, what stops you from using different visuals? Okay, Geraldine, thank you for your honesty. Feeling foolish. I think mine is confidence is someone. It'll go wrong, says Anya. Neil, being consistently banned from Pictionary due to poor drawing. Casual, I can't draw. No. Keeping up with the discussion. Yeah, that's a good one because you're so busy focusing on the drawing. Emmanuel, I'm with you. Lacking imagination to do it live and not knowing how to represent things. Kirsten, it takes too much brain power. I can copy. That helps. Definitely, Alison. I think giving some guidance. Will the audience get it, says Debbie. Andy, confidence and not able to think quick enough to draw it in a simple way. That's definitely mine. And then the other thing I find I do is, because I think my brain is worried, I draw it too small. And then I get these little images. So yeah, I think guys, you're echoing many of mine. Is like I can't think of what to draw in a simple way, and then if I do think of it, I don't think I've got the I haven't got the confidence to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, these are all really, really common concerns, and a lot of it is kind of goes back to feeling fearful and afraid of looking foolish. People are saying, or not doing it right, or whatever. And sometimes when people look at some drawings and they just think, they don't associate themselves they don't identify as a person who can create something like that. So they look at it and go, well, that's great for that person. That's great that they can do that, but that's not really me. And what I aim to do is to strip back what you see on the page and break it down into simple step-by-step steps so that it doesn't feel so kind of overwhelming and scary. A lot of the things you say, people talking about not knowing what to draw when you're doing it live, I always say to folk who are starting out with this kind of thing, you don't have to do it live, especially when you're starting out. Anyone who's starting out, I always advise to do pre-prepared flips and posters and do it in your own time and practice as much as you want, and then bring it into a group and maybe talk people through it. Or there's a couple of different ways of using flips for presentations. But don't worry, don't try and run before you can walk, and build up your skills step by step. And also with drawing, what you're looking for is to really learn how to draw, say, 20 or 30 images. No one expects everybody to be able to draw everything. You're talking about building up an icon library of, say, 20 or 30 images that you can then rehearse and practice and use in lots of different situations. A couple of things that might help as well is that your drawing only needs to look 30% like what it's supposed to actually be, and the brain will make up the rest. That feels much better, doesn't it? Yeah, I always say that to myself. So this is what research has shown, that in fact some of that kind of sketchy stuff, even if it's not perfect, that's going to increase engagement, because people are going to be kind of saying, hey, what is that outfit, or is it really a sheep? And that actually opens up discussion as well. So remember, with a lot of this work that we're talking about being in a group, being live with people, and there's conversation happening around this. This isn't about kind of a guessing game and throwing out a few sketches and hoping people are going to understand what you're going to say. This is about opening up discussions. Okay. So only 30% like what it's supposed to be. A bit like speed reading, like that, where you only look at the kind of the center of the word, the brain makes up the rest. What I'd like people to do is to think about and remember what it was like to be 4 years old and having a lovely picture that you created in school or preschool and bringing it home to your parents and saying, hey, what do you think of that? Feeling just really proud of everything you created. If you said to a 4-year-old, can you draw? What do you think a 4-year-old would say?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, unequivocally, pretty much. Well, of course. In fact, they look at you like you're probably a little bit silly for asking the question. But if you ask a 7-year-old whether or not they can draw, what do you think they say?
No? Maybe?
Maybe, yeah, kind of a maybe, because the kind of early conditioning has kicked in there, and kids are starting to doubt themselves, or maybe been labeled good at art or good at maths or whatever. So it's often just about kind of reconnecting with that 4-year-old and remembering that power of feeling free and liberated and not so concerned about what other people think. The third point to remember is that this isn't art. This is about, we're all facilitators here in this group. So our primary concern is holding space for a group and helping them to work through whatever it is they're working through. It's not about, at the end of the day, saying, hey, look, I did this beautiful drawing. Isn't everyone really impressed with me? So we all have to just put our egos outside the door and think about what's going to help the group. And what I'd like you to do now is to get out a fresh sheet of paper. And I'm going to prove to you how simple it is to draw. So those of you who have said, I can't draw, or I'm rubbish at drawing, I'm useless at drawing, just have a bash. You'll be amazed at the skills that you have that you didn't realize you had. And all you need to do for this exercise is just draw a few squiggles like so on your piece of paper. And the good thing about drawing squiggles is that the word squiggle is open to interpretation. Couldn't possibly get a squiggle wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, you never know. We might have some control freaks in the crowd. We've got to get this.
Well, this is it. A lot of people talk about the fact that they can't draw and get really focused on the skill, but actually half the challenge with this stuff is mindset. It's really about being comfortable with it not being absolutely perfect and sort of finding that balance between practicing and just doing it. Okay. So just bear that in mind when you start talking to yourself and telling yourself things are rubbish. So we've got these fabulous squiggles, and now we're going to turn these into birds. And all you do is you add a beak, like so, some feet, and maybe a tail. Oh, and a little eye. There you go. And then all you do is you just basically work your way through the rest of the squiggles. And maybe some of them will be upside down. Maybe they will be on their heads. We can see just how easy it is to create a recognizable image just from a few strokes and kind of pulling it all together.
My God, it works. She might be on something, folks.
How's everyone getting on with that?
So don't forget, take some photographs. Hashtag it, SOF, I drew this.
Everyone, oh, cool. They're brilliant. Love them. I mean, look at the personality of those birds. They're fantastic.
That was surprisingly easy.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. It's all about just kind of breaking it down into simple shapes and strokes. So what we did there is our shape was a squiggle, and then we added elements to that to make it into a recognizable image. Everyone ready for the next?
Hold on. Mr. Deshani, Kirsty, some of those are more like dinosaurs. Does that matter? What, my picture or yours, Des? I think dinosaurs is fine as well.
That's totally fine. Now, if you're working with a group and you really, really want them to know that these are birds, and you're concerned that there's some doubters in the room who think there might be dinosaurs, all you do is you write the word bird. Everyone's going to know it's a bird.
Des has just written that. Tell them they are birds.
Tell them they're birds, yeah.
But I've just entitled mine Squiggle Birds. I'm going to take a photograph and pop that up. Alison says, love it.
Oh, great.
Hold on. So if anyone is on Twitter as well, you can find us at SOF Facilitation. Tag us in. And I'm going to tag Emer in my photo as well. Go on, Emer. On Eva. What else? So Squiggle Birds is a good one.
Are we ready for the next exercise?
Let's do it. I think keep it flowing.
Everybody got a fresh sheet of paper? It's really strange. Like talking through the computer and there's nobody there. But you're there, which is good.
Just so I can tell you, Alison has said love it. Liz McDonald, a great opener to build confidence. That's exactly why we did it, Liz. Geraldine, we are here.
We are here. Great. Good. This is good. You can tell I'm new to this webinar drawing stuff. Okay. So the main message I hope that you took from that is that graphics and hand-drawn stuff is really about looking at simple shapes and adding a few elements to those shapes to create drawings. And now we're going to take some other basic shapes.
Okay. So that's a square, a triangle, an oblong, a circle, and a diamond. Okay.
Rectangle.
Square. That's my child. That's my 4-year-old. It's an oblong. Okay. Nick is, I'm addicted to squiggle birds. Cashel, it's cool. Kirsten, it's, I love it. Hold on. Let me play catch up because I'm having too much fun reading everyone's messages. What's the hashtag? It's hashtag SOF I drew this. I don't know if you can read what Emer's writing. Okay, Emer, let's do this.
Right.
Round
Here's
2.
a basic shape.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add stuff to these shapes to turn them into images, okay? So for example, if I add this, that becomes a TV, pretty much. A little tent. A truck of sorts.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So now what I'd like you guys to do is to kind of start again and draw out each of these shapes on their own, just the blank shapes. And once you've done that, I'd like you to have a think about what you can create from these shapes. So don't copy what I've done here. Why is Kirsty?
Well,
Take your time.
Back to this bit about creativity and thinking of, well, what could it be?
Well, take a look at the first one. Okay, so it's a box, pretty much. Well, there you go. I've given you a suggestion. So it's a square.
Oh, I know.
Have a look around where you are, your office, your home, the cafe. What can you see? What shapes can you see?
Okay.
Kirsty, would you like to share with us what you've got?
I've just realised the epic fail of doing this with just you and I on camera is I have to share my artwork. And I feel, I'll tell you what I can feel is like a resistance, my inner child going, it's rubbish. Okay, so this is, so that could be a flag or it could be a present.
Look at that.
My mountain, it's a radio.
Cool.
That's a balloon. And this is a sort of rocket thing taking off.
That is perfect, yeah. That's it. You can do it. You can draw. That's all it is. There's nothing there that was in any way worse than what I've got here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anyone's taken a photograph and popped it on Twitter, I'm just going to have a little search and see what we can see. How did everybody else go? SWAT, says Neil. Thank you. Oh, Emma's drawn a circle. She's drawn a birthday cake. Oh, that's a nice one. Why don't some of you guys write in what have you, the shape and what you drew?
Yeah, love to hear that.
Thanks, Mr. Fogarty. I don't know you yet. I'm sure our paths will cross. An iPhone. The diamond has turned into a diamond ring. The square is a window, says Emmanuel. The oval shape is a fish pond. Oh, I haven't got an oval, have I? Oh, well.
That's okay.
The square is a calculator, a clock face for the circle, the triangle is a party hat, the rectangle is a bourbon biscuit, the oblong is a table, the triangle is a piece of cheese for the mouse, the triangle is a party hat, triangle and arrow, circle, plate of food, triangle, wow, hat on a gnome, oblong drawers, circle, spider. Ah, Anya's the same as me, a present for her square. Joanne, what are you thinking about? A chocolate bar. And Amy, chocolate bar. Circle is a watch. The diamond is a diamond, of course, says Amy. I can even hear you say that. Neil, the circle is a target. The square is a chessboard. The triangle is a pyramid. The rectangle is a boardroom table. Mitra, circle is now a little baby with a bow. Ramon, the square is a box game that I used to play when I was a child. Oh my God, we're all having flashbacks. Keshal, the oblong is a picture frame. Des, the oblong is a football rattle, the old-fashioned one.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah.
Love it, guys. Look at all of that creativity.
Amazing, yeah, lots of food-related imagery going on there. I think people are thinking about cups of tea and biscuits and stuff. It's at a
Yeah, clearly.
I just really want to go and buy a packet of bourbons now. Haven't had one in a while. But yeah, that's brilliant. So, okay, so we've got like over 50 people on the webinar today, and these are 5 images. So we're talking, we've roughly created about 250 images in the past, 2 minutes, which is pretty awesome. And I'm really pleased to see that everyone got stuck in and enjoying that, I hope. And hopefully we'll see how simple it is to create these images. How are you getting on?
I just want to give you some confidence, Emer. I can't help myself. I've gone onto Twitter and we've got over 30 photographs have gone up already with squiggle birds. They are utterly brilliant. I'll tag you in them afterwards.
Wow.
The squiggle birds look amazing, guys. Some of the shapes have gone up. Danny, yeah, squiggle birds are intriguing. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of pictures going up. So that's brilliant. Thank you.
Excellent, good stuff. Okay. So if you're working with a group and you don't feel the need to draw a bourbon biscuit or a football thingy, there may be other things that you'd like to know how to draw for working with groups and so forth. So we're going to move on to do some more drawing.
Okay.
Fresh sheet of paper. Focus.
Go.
Okay, so I'm going to draw them, but I will. So depending, my arm might be in front, but I'll step to one side and hopefully you'll be able to see it. If there's something you can't see clearly, just let me know, or just let Kirsty know, and I can kind of go through it again so you see how I did it.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm a high extroverted feeler who's like a bloody Labrador puppy who just gets distracted by fun things like people messaging me. Cat has. Right, I'm penned up. I'm blank papered up. Hit me with it, baby.
Okay, so regardless of what industry you're in, what sector you're in, who you're working with, it's really useful to know how to draw, bada boom, people.
Yes.
So what's the quickest, simplest way to draw a person?
Stick man.
Stick person.
Sorry.
So why don't you see so many stick people in graphics? And
why don't we?
What's wrong with the humble stick person? Why am I saying, okay, guys, go and draw stick people? Because
I bet it's because we all think it's too simple.
It's not so much that it's too simple. I'm all for a bit of simplicity, but it's really that the stick person is a bit thin and therefore can look a bit what's that?
Can I read some of the answers why we don't draw them?
Oh yeah.
They're too skinny. There's no gender, and we don't look like that.
We don't look like that.
Really tickled me.
Yeah, well, those are all true and valid points. But also, the stick person can sometimes get lost with letters. If there's a lot of stick people, there's also letters on the same page. They can all get a little bit confused as to what's a letter and to what's a stick person as well. So when we're talking about hand-drawn graphics, we're just talking about taking this up a notch so that we have a little bit of character to the stick person and it stands out more than what you've got here. So in graphics, there's actually quite a few different ways of drawing a person really quickly and easily. And I'm going to talk you through 3 of those ways. Brilliant. So the first one is the star person, where you've got a little circle for your head. These are your arms. And these are your legs. That's your star person.
See, I draw people like that, but they then end up being the skinniest looking arms and legs, and I don't get enough width. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. It depends on the way, and you can do it in a couple of different ways. The way I do it is I do each arm and then do the legs, but I have seen some people do it where it's more like all in one go, a bit like that.
Oh.
I
I get the angling. For me, it's the angling coming down, and I'm probably just totally overthinking it.
Yeah, just practice. Just have a bash. Keep going. Widen it. One criticism I've heard of the star people is that they all look really happy and kind of, you know, excited. And as somebody said, we don't look like that. So, you know, maybe not everyone's really happy all the time. But you can also draw a star person with their arms kind of down like that.
Yeah.
You can do it that way as well. Yeah.
Okay, news coming in from Bristol. Beep, 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 beep. Miss Thorne, I can draw a star person.
Of course you can. Yeah.
Emer, I love your innate confidence in us all, like, of course you can. As if we're all stupid and like, Geraldine, do you add expressions?
Yes, we'll come on to that in a moment, Geraldine. I'm glad you asked. We're going to do, I'm going to show you 2 more ways to draw a person, and then we'll talk a little bit about expressions.
Okay.
So just to finish off the star person, what's cool is that you can do a group of star people just like that.
Right, it's like you're mind reading, because that was the next question from Mr. Fogarty of how do you draw a group scene?
There you go.
Wow. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, I'm now counting legs.
Yeah, don't overthink it, and don't worry about, you know, are they exactly the right legs of each person. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next kind of person that we're going to learn how to draw is what's known as a shape person. Beautiful. Look at those star people. Cool. Okay, the shape person. So you're going to have more or less sort of rectangular-ish shape, and that's going to represent the torso. And then all we're doing is we're adding some legs. 1, 2, 3. Like 2 legs down together.
It's like a Mr. Potato shape.
Just a bit kind of a potato quality about it. Yeah. And a shoe can be like that.
Huh. So it really is just sort of just do it. Oh, so that's the body. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, if you like, you can do the shape person, and you can just have kind of sticks as legs and arms.
Yeah. Oh, I've drawn a person.
Yes, you have.
I'd be a right pain in your class. I could imagine you just going, Kirsty, just you're fine. Keep going.
You know, this is
out there, people. Oh, Geraldine, can you do that shape again, please? Amy, mine is taking pear shape to another level. Come on, Amy, photograph it and put it on Twitter. I want to see this.
Yeah, see that question, like, do the shape again. It's not about having this exact shape, though. It's like the shape could be like that. The shape could be like that. The shape could be like that. You're talking about a blob that's going to represent a torso. So try not to over.
Geraldine's gone okay. I can hear an internal sigh through most of us, like. But I guess that makes sense. So I'll try a different shape.
Now, what I love as well about the shape people, I might just grab another black pen.
I quite like my shape people.
Yeah, I mean,
Emma in Bristol. My shape person is pregnant. Well, I think mine have all got head issues. Hold on, I'm going to get this.
Yeah, heads are interesting. It's often where people can lose a slight sense of perspective. So think of your heads like oblong head can do well, and don't forget to make the legs kind of as long as you need to make them too.
Oh, so is that the so think length in legs and think bigger head than you probably credit.
I'll just do a group of those shape people. So got a blob, another blob, and some other kind of blob. So you got 3 blobs.
Okay.
Now you're going to do legs. And just remember, think about the length. So this person's legs are going to be like that.
Okay.
And a shoe and a shoe.
Oh.
This person's going to be wearing a skirt.
Uh-huh. Mine's got a mini skirt.
Yeah, why not?
So we do V legs for these people. Okay. And we put a line down here.
And then this is going to have non-V legs. This is just going to have those kind of legs. And they're all bunched together, so you only have to worry about the arms kind of at the side. Like that.
I like these arms, just tucking them in behind. Some feedback from the group is Mr. Potato Head. Is that mine or yours, Gary? Shape people demonstrates inclusivity on my page. Diversity as well, and loving shape people, says Geraldine.
Yeah, great. And then you were thinking about the head, so remember, try not to have. Is
he bent down and looking away?
I think oblong, like that. Just have a quick glance down, kind of perspective-wise. Okay.
Did you intentionally do a small head on that person on the left? Or
Yeah,
was that
to demonstrate what not to do. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Oh, that works really well, because look, now that person is shouting. I didn't even hey, looks really angry.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I'm shouting at you lot. Sorry. Emmanuel, one of my people's feet don't touch the ground. Could you put him on a step, make a little block underneath it so it's the same height as everybody else's?
So I did there like the kind of things behind them, but you could do it like that.
Oh, that's a cunning plan. So do the ground behind them at a higher level, because then it actually.
Yeah. Because ground behind them works well, especially if the feet are a little bit not quite at the same level.
Okay, are we ready for Laura Matty on Twitter is taking her shape people to a new level. She's gone for face and hair and ears.
Wow. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to do expressions, and then we're going to move on to look at the kind of the anatomy of a flip chart. I've just noticed our time, Kirsty.
Sorry. Yes, sorry. Too much fun. Could you all stop having fun, please, on this Monday morning? That includes me. Sorry, I'm ready. Sorry.
So much stuff. We could go for ages.
I know. I sense a second one coming on later in the year somehow, Emer.
Hello. So with faces and expressions, we're going to start with the shape of the face. Let's go for 3 different face shapes. And the way that I think about drawing a face. Now, as we know, there are quite a few elements to a face.
God.
Hair, eyes, and mouth. We can convey a lot of information that way. So there's our 3 shapes. Then we're talking about maybe doing a little fringe on each of them.
So hold on, it's a little bit far away. So you're doing a wiggly line across to fill in the top bit.
Yeah.
What you're doing?
Yeah. Fringe.
Yep. Obviously, Kirsty. Uh-huh.
And then we're just adding to that.
Ah. Oh dear, mine looks like an ice cream head now.
It's okay. It's okay. It's totally fine. So we've got our hair. The eyes, we can just do 2 little dots. We can do 2 little lines like that with the circle in there. It's a little bit angry. 2 lines like that. A couple of different mouths. This person is surprised, confused, thinking.
I can do that.
This person is smiling.
Oh,
yes.
oh wow, that looks really good. I like that incomplete oblong.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. Yeah, I think it just convey a lot of information, doesn't it? A final tip for this is, you know, you can start with the head and then draw the rest of the person, or you could just kind of come like that, and there's your person.
Yeah, it's Monday morning. I think we'll just keep it heads for the moment. If you ask us to start drawing bodies, that's a bit scary. How would you draw the body on the triangle lady?
How would I draw the body in the triangle lady?
Like you've just done on your man on the left. What's the next one? Because she's skinnier. Oh, okay. Just little shoulders. Huh. Oh, wow. I have. Yay.
Love shocked face. Good. What makes you say she's a lady? Yeah, good question.
Oh, we're not going into all of that right now. In my head.
We're saying that. Okay, so there you go. Like, we've looked at a couple of different ways how to draw a person. We've looked at different kinds of expressions. Yeah. When it comes to your charts, and I mentioned this before, is that a nice way to kind of ease into doing some of this hand-drawn stuff is to actually pre-prepare some flip charts, and so you have them in the room, and that helps to kind of calm down the nerves a bit, so you're not thinking, oh, I have to think exactly what to draw and so forth. Also, as a facilitator, really powerful to get the folk that you're working with to draw. Give them the markers and let them have a bat. When we're looking at things like flip charts, there's a couple of things to bear in mind. One is our lettering. So this will either be something that's kind of easy peasy for people or a bit of a challenge depending on your natural handwriting style. The greatest tip I can give you for lettering and flip charts is to keep it really simple. Don't join up the letters, and also write on the straight. So avoid this kind of curvy, sideways kind of writing that you see sometimes. And why do you think I say that?
Why not do curvy writing?
Yeah, why not? Why can't I just say
I have no idea. What do you lot think? Curvy sideways, but how to avoid it? My handwriting is shocking. Always think it makes me look unprofessional. Guys, why do you think we don't do curvy? Difficult to keep straight. Oh, you're saying we do curvy, we don't do straight?
My question was, I'm advising you not to do curvy. And why am I advising you not to do curvy?
It's what everyone does. Messy, distracting. I don't know. Give us the answer.
Yeah, so basically, it's just not terribly accessible. I mean, that's not too bad, but sometimes if you have to turn your head to read it, it's more work for the brain to do. And when we're drawing right, we want the minimum amount of work for the brain to do as possible. We want to make our work as brain friendly as possible. There are different kind of general rules of thumb, and one of them is to always kind of write on the straight, so that's easier for people to read, and people don't have to kind of tilt their heads to one side to make out what's happening. It's just kind of calming. Yeah.
Yeah, as Adrian said, eyes don't follow as easily, and people have to tilt their heads, says Christine. So that engagement piece. A question from Mitra in Nottingham was, what about mind maps?
Yeah, if I do a mind map, I still write it on the straight. Like if you've got like I will write along here, along there. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. I'll do my writing there. I like that. Okay.
So we've got about 6 minutes left. So should we just do these titles and borders and why we both think they're really important?
Yes, indeed. So the title. So we know already that we need to keep it on the straight. Practice your block capitals.
Okay.
Now the way that I do block capitals normally is that I will not let my pen come off the page.
Oh, can you talk to S's? That's my biggest irritation, drawing an S.
Yeah, here's my top tip for an S. Do a big curvy curve and then a small curvy curve.
Okay. Yep.
Line down.
Yep.
And follow it around.
Oh. Nice. You've done that before, haven't you?
Much trial and error. Like, how do I do this? So we've got our title, and then you might have other information on the page as well that maybe is in a different style of lettering or a different color, but at the same time it should always be, you know, not joined up and quite easy to read and on the straight. So even just practicing your letters in a normal way. And if you want to avoid this, which often happens when you're working on a flip chart, you like putting your finger out while you're just your little pinky finger, whether you're right or left-handed, it really helps to kind of anchor the page. Even just doing a little mark at one side so that the eye looks over and you can kind of, it keeps you going. Or, for example, using a lined piece of paper underneath this piece of paper so that you can see through the lines and that keeps it on the straight. For things like titles, I always do them in advance, particularly, yeah, more so. I do titles more so in advance than drawings actually, because they can be a little bit tricky to do and it takes a wee bit of practice to get it right.
Oh my God, the S breakthrough, says Kat. I'm with you. Quick question whilst we're going. What pens do you recommend? What flip chart pens?
Yes, that's another tip for lettering, is to make it really visible that people can see. So what I recommend is to use a chisel tip, and the ones I recommend are called Neuland. Hope you can see that. And the reason I love them so much is that they're chisel tips. You get a nice fat line when you're writing, and they're also refillable. Get my little, so you get a little refill stuff there, and you can kind of top it up when you're running out, which is very good. I'll write the name of them there.
That's the refill bit. And the chisel, it's re-nibbable, which means you can take the nib off and replace it if it gets a bit fluffy. Gary, I have been refilling my pens from the same pot for the last year, and yes, absolutely. It's called, so you need, if you're in the UK, there's one supplier that I know of, is Pinpoint Facilitation. Is that correct?
It is. However, you can now buy Neuland pens directly from Neuland, even if you're in. You used to be able to do that. You used to have to go through Pinpoint, but you can now actually buy them direct from Neuland for more or less the same price. They do take a little bit longer to arrive. So if you go to neuland.com.
And there's about 25 to 30 different colours. They change. How many?
You can also get these big, massive, fat ones called big ones, which are really good for doing titles as well. And you can get like thin ones for.
So totally recommend these pens, guys. They have, I know, and Sharp. I know some people absolutely adore the sort of smelly pens as well. I think they make me feel sick. But these are good. I like the fact they're reusable and refillable.
Yeah, but yeah, be mindful of the folk in your space as well. These are non-toxic, which is great. So sometimes the toxic pens can really irritate people. So I always advise using non-toxic pens. Goodness, we're almost at time, Kirsty.
Yeah, I know. Can you just do a quick one on borders? Because that's one of my big passions.
Yeah, borders are amazing. Okay, look at this. I mean, this is already, stunning, of course, but we can take this up a notch by adding a border. And one of my favorite borders is actually just like this.
Okay. I'm going to border my pre-drawn pictures. So I use borders. This was one of my biggest transformations in my workshops, was bordering up all the work that I did and I prepared in advance. And the benefits of bordering, a couple of things for us as facilitators, you can identify your work really quickly because yours has borders around and your group won't think to do borders. It draws the eye and brings people into the poster that you've created. It looks really neat and tidy. If you want to get really savvy and slightly at an unconscious level, I often work out what color the logo is of my corporate client, and then I will take the relevant pen, and therefore all the borders are in the color of their corporate colors, and it just looks really smart. And also, if you think about picture frames, we put frames around pictures, don't we? And the reason we do it is it draws our eye into what's on that page.
Yeah, there's loads of different ways. I've written a blog post about the board.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is one of my favorite ones. I'm going to give you one little thing that you can do to add to this, which ties in with what we were talking about earlier with regards to people. One of my favorite kinds of people are M people. So this is like a continuous M down the bottom of the page.
Oh, wow.
What I'm going to do now is add the heads on. And then add a few more heads here. And we basically got a crystal.
Gary, or was it Neil? Who wanted a crowd scene? There you go.
There you go. So you color in the backs of their heads. So this is almost like a crowd, and they're kind of looking up, and maybe this could be then, the title of your piece and so forth. So that's a little border tip.
Anyone who's in my workshops for the next few months are going to see M people and crowds, I think.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
We are at 11 o'clock, so I totally respect if people need to drop off. Absolutely. We had one more exercise we were going to ask people, and it was really, really simple. Was in the next 30 seconds, in the chat box, in the question box, can everybody write down one thing they're going to do differently next time they run a workshop, host a meeting? What are you going to do? And I will shout out what you write. They're all thinking, what are you going to do differently? Borders. Only one, says Neil. Well, give us more then. Draw people, more people and borders. I'm going to use borders, but on Elio, you've got a big one as well. I gave you as a present. Start with the squiggles into birds. Star people and borders. Oh my God, draw some people. Who knew it was possible? Have the confidence to use the flip chart, but without the words. I'm going to do a crowd scene. Neil, borders, people, shapes. I'm going to do the scribbling exercise as a warm-up. Dina, I'm going to get some proper pens and not rely on the client. Absolutely. Have your own kit.
Yeah.
I wrote a blog on it. Borders and bolder letters like an S. I'm going to prepare my flip charts in advance. I'm going to do shape people. I'm loving the faces. I'm going to get some Newland pens, says Lorna. Adrian, I'm just going to get more artistic in general, not just the words. I want some squiggle birds. Yes, the recording is going to be available after this. You're all going to get an email tomorrow, and there'll be a handout on it as well. Christine, I'm going to draw people, use borders, squiggle birds, some decent pens. On that point though, guys, if you are facilitating and training a lot, do not rely on locations, even if it's your own offices. Start to build your own kit. Build your own toolkit. So for those who know me, I'm walking around all the time with a massive bunch of big ones. That sounds wrong. And I'm also got lots and lots and lots of marker pens. So just start building up your kit. But guys, thank you very much. Take care of yourselves wherever you are, and speak to you again soon.